I'm so fucking tired of being in this goddamn truck. I've been getting a lot of questions along the lines of, I'm fasting, I'm doing 23-hour fast, 4-hour eating window, and I'm not losing weight. And I'm in the same boat. I've pretty much plateaued for a while now. And I can tell you where my plateau is directly related to the amount of sugar and carbs I eat. More sugar and carbs, higher my plateau. If I was keto right now, I'd be in my 190s, but because I eat crap, I'm in my 210s. So you got to keep that in mind. For weight maintenance, I believe the 16 to 23 hour fast cannot be beat. You can pretty much eat what you want in your eating window if you are trying to keep your weight the same. If you're trying to lose weight, it requires a little bit of going above and beyond. Now, there are several fucking ways to do this. There's countless ways to do this. And I'm going to go through some of them with you and the pros and cons. Okay, so you're doing your 1 to 4 hour eating window every day. But you're eating like a fucking freight train during those goddamn short little periods of eating. Well, here are some things you can try to continue your weight loss in these situations. One of the things I'm currently doing that is moving the needle slowly for me is every other day, no carbs. That's it. During your eating window, every other day, don't eat carbs. 20 grams max. That gives you some for some nuts and some fucking vegetables, and that's about it. Anything more than that? Nope. Not gonna happen. No bread, no pasta, no cookies, no cakes, no sugar in your shit, no sugary drinks, none of that. What you need to do is that basically will cut your carb and sugar intake in half, and you will notice some weight loss results just by doing that. Not to mention the fasting keeps you in fat burning mode for a long period of time. Basically, every other day, you're not refueling your glycogen stores. That's for those of you unfamiliar or uninitiated, you have 2 fuel tanks. Glycogen, which is mainly sugar, stored in your liver and muscles, and fat, which is stored in your ass, and your belly, and your tits, and everywhere else. And you obviously, if you want to lose weight, glycogen's more of the, temporary fuel tank, really doesn't move the needle much. Yeah, as you lose glycogen, you lose water weight, up to 4 to 6 pounds of water weight in some people. And the fuck? Obviously, you want your glycogen to be depleted in order to get access to your fat. So that is the best compromise I can see to where you can still eat the shitty shit that we all are addicted to, that our society is filled with, that you can't really fucking go anywhere without being offered it. The holidays were, my God, over the holidays, I was offered and pretty much accepted so much shitty, sugary, baked goods. I mean, they were good. I loved them. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy eating that shit. But it seemed like everybody wanted to give me, so much sugar and carbs that I fucking, by the end of it, I was, my energy was sapped. I felt I had overdone it. Now, I did regain over the holidays 2 pounds as a result of eating those sugar and carbs. I'm currently working on knocking it back down, because before that, doing the daily, every other day keto was moving the needle for me. I got down from I started at 216 before I did some of the fasts. I've gotten down to 212 before the holiday, Christmas, and then it shot back up to 215. So now I'm whittling it back down again. And thankfully, New Year's isn't much of a feasting. It's more of a drinking holiday, but I'll get into that in another video. So that's my most recommended method for people who just can't fucking go keto all the time, or for vegans, I guess. If you can't eat all the fats and meats and proteins, well, then maybe every other day do some nuts, some avocado, and keep your fats high. You want lots of fat, good fats. If you can't do butter, do coconut oil. Just, you want good, healthy fats on the day that you're low carbon to fill in the gap. Otherwise, you're going to be fucking hungrier than shit. And you want to feel satisfied. The whole point's to not be as hungry. If you got good willpower, you can do ADF. You can do 36-hour fast every other day, i.e. every other day, don't eat. And then eat what you want on the days that you do eat. And do that for maybe a 6 to 8 hour eating window. If, the lower your eating window, the less of a chance you're going to out-eat your fast. So if you just can't do keto at all, you're going to have to do ADF. There's no way around it. If you're going to eat shitty foods, 16-hour fasts and 23-hour fasts aren't going to cut it. You need to push it if you are going to lose weight. Okay, now to some of the other options. Counting fucking calories. So, if you're doing daily 23-hour fasts or daily 16-hour fasts, you do have the option of counting calories or going to the gym and burning off your shit on the Fuckmaster, which will make you hungrier and you will eat more during your eating window. So you got to keep these in mind. So it's a combination. Count the calories and go to the gym. I do not recommend that as a means of weight loss, because over time your metabolism will become slower and you will burn at base metabolic rate. When you're just sitting on your ass, you will actually burn less calories per hour than you normally would if you'd had enough food for the energy you burn. So that's the difference that people get confused on with fasting. They think, all fasting is a reduced calorie. No, your body shifts to a whole entire mode, and it's not starving when you're fasting. You're not burning any less energy during a long fast than you would normally. It's the source of where your body's getting its energy, and during a fast, it shifts over to a fat-burning metabolism and burns your fat. Once you're and it's a gradual process. It's not like a switch. It takes 48 hours to really start ramping up your fat burning. The liver is generally empty or near empty around 24 hours. That's dependent on how much protein you eat too, because you can refill a little bit from protein, and in some cases fat. So you do always maintain a base glucose level. You'll never hit 0 if that's what you're thinking, which of course you would probably die if you did. Ketones fill in the gap for sugar. You want to be in a fat burning mode. You don't want to increase your energy expenditure and then not eat enough to coincide and not fast. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you exercise a lot and then you don't eat enough to compensate, your body panics and starts to try and run more efficiently. It says, holy shit, we're burning all this extra fuel and we're doing all this extra activity and fucking the goddamn, we're not taking in enough calories to support this. We're gonna die if we don't stop doing this. They put your body into this panic mode, and it can last a long time, especially if you do this drastic weight loss. Look at the Biggest Loser study. They went back to see how much weight regain that those fuckers did by massively increasing their cardio and massively decreasing their caloric intake. So I do not recommend counting calories and going to the gym and pounding the fuckmaster to death to lose weight. Yes, you will lose weight. But the minute you stop, the minute you don't go to the gym, the minute you fucking start eating a normal amount of calories, and I mean if you counted your calories and tried to eat your basal metabolic rate as per the little calorie calculators you see on My Fucking Fitness Pal, if you go back to doing those things, the weight is just going to come back. It'll be slowly, gradually, but you'll be just as fat as you were, and your metabolism will stay at that rate. It will keep being at that efficient rate. Fasting works differently than restricted calorie diets. So that is my word of caution. If you're going to use that as your means of losing weight, if you're doing 23-hour fasts and then you only eat 800 or 900 calories every day, you are going to panic your body, and it is going to slow your metabolism, and your metabolism will stay that way even after you start consuming what you think is normal calories. And that's where the weight regain comes back. Happens every time, without fail. You can go to every weight loss study, and it happens every time. The only way you maintain your weight loss, especially if you were obese to begin with, is lifelong interventions of either fasting or your exercise or your caloric restriction. If you're going to eat 800 calories a day and you want to maintain your weight loss, guess what? You have to eat 800 fucking calories a day the rest of your goddamn life. Now, I don't know about you, but I find that extremely difficult to maintain, extremely non-sustainable. You're not always going to be able to go to the gym to run. Try doing that shit in your 40s, 50s, and 60s, all you 20-year-old motherfuckers, and tell me how you're fucking going to be out there jogging. Yeah, there's the one or two health nuts out there that still jog in their 60s and 70s, but for the most part, most of the old people I know that are older than me, and I'm getting up there, they aren't doing that shit. They aren't. And a lot of people just don't want to do that shit. I praise the people that do. Enjoy. But you're damaging your metabolism in the process. And when that lifestyle is over, your weight's going to go right the fuck back up. It's like, you know, when you first see them titties, the fucking boner comes back. That's the same thing. Okay, maybe that's an extreme example. But what I'm saying is, I don't know what the fuck I was talking about there. Titties and boners, and I've been on the truck too long. What it boils down to is, it is something you can do if you have to eat shit. You just eat less shit, and I found that can fuck you. I've done it. I've done long fasts with an 800 calorie fucking meal afterwards, and I can tell you I plateaued like a motherfucker doing some extremely long fasts, 36-hour fasts. You shouldn't plateau if you're doing 36-hour fasts, no matter what you eat during your goddamn normal eating window, assuming you're not force-feeding yourself 10,000 calories. It should be very difficult to out-eat a 36-hour fast. I plateaued on 36s. I had to start doing 72s, 5-day fasts, so on and so forth. I had one of you comment a while back about, how Holocaust survivors didn't regain weight. That's the point. They were not losing, yes, they started to lose weight. They burn off all their fat. Then they began cannibalizing their own organs in starvation. That is what happens. You still burn the same amount of energy, but there's a cap to that. You can't, your body will, if you overexert yourself and burn too much energy faster than you can burn it off your ass, your body will panic and it will slow you down. Your metabolism will be slower. And I have no doubt that the victims of starvation that, during those times had a great deal of metabolic damage because they were past the point of burning their own body fat. If you fast for a long period of time and you don't have any body fat, your body's going to eat whatever it can. That includes your muscles, your organs, until it leads to eating a vital organ and you die. That's what starvation is. Starvation's when you ain't got no fat on you. I don't want to hear anybody saying that you're starving yourself by fasting, because you're not. You're eating the stored fat that your body was putting away for a rainy day when you can't get to the McDonald's, or you can't go to the goddamn fucking Five Guys, or you can't run over to Wegmans and load up your shopping cart. That's what all of that fat is on there for. And if you want to fucking get rid of it, you have to make your body use it. And the way you make your body use it is to not refill your glycogen constantly. Your glycogen is like a buffer between your fat and you. A lot of people go to the gym and burn through their glycogen so they can get to their fat, but then after 1 or 2 hours after they get done with the gym, they're fucking starving. So they run to the fucking, eat their fucking huge meal. And if they're not, using willpower and counting their calories, they're gonna out-eat the energy they burn in the fucking gym. You don't burn a shit ton of energy. Your body becomes efficient at that shit. So you're going to go through all your fucking glycogen. You're going to fucking quickly, 2 hours later, probably after being 2 hours with a little bit of, a little extra burning of energy, because there is that little afterburn that goes on when you exercise. But you're going to refill your glycogen right after that, and guess what your body's going to do? It's not burning your fat, it's burning the glycogen that you're putting into it, especially if you're eating carbs and sugar. Now, if you do that and you eat keto, you're still going to be burning fat, but you'll be burning what you're eating instead of the fat on your ass. So that's what you got to think about with sugar and carbs. A lot of people, I can eat all the carbs I want and I'm thin. Well, congratulations on winning the genetic lottery. A lot of us are not that way. In fact, if you look at the studies, a majority of people aren't that way. You got people dying in their 50s and 60s of diseases that shouldn't happen till your 80s and 90s because of all of the sugar and carbs and crap that we are living off of. In most societies, not even just the U.S. anymore. It's spread out all over the world, all because of the big green dollar. So I don't recommend caloric restriction at all. Play with your fasting times and play with your macros. Don't worry about how many calories you're doing or going to the gym and burning off. If you aren't getting results with a 23-hour fast, you can probably keep eating the way you're eating and push it to a 36-hour fast until the needle starts moving. Here's the thing. The longer you fast, eventually the needle's going to budge. There's nothing that your body can do if you're not taking in energy. It has to consume your stored energy. Once it realizes that your glycogen's gone and not being refilled, you will burn off your fat ass. And you don't have to be in the gym, pumping fucking 300-pound weights, which can help with muscle building and whatnot, if that's your thing. But you don't have to be in the gym doing that. You don't have to be in the gym doing cardio. Your body will still burn the fat. It needs the energy. It's not going to eat your fucking muscles. Any lean mass you do, and this has been proven with DEXA scan studies, that most of the lean mass is a false register. This is Jason Fung, I thank for this. It's a false register of the reduction in fat around your organs. That is what I don't know. He's the only one I've heard say that the DEXA can falsely read, but a lot of people that have done these DEXA scans have said they've gained muscle in their arms and legs on a fast. And these are long fasts we're talking. We're talking 10, 20, 30-day fasts that some of these people are doing. So the myth that you're going to burn off your muscle if you fast is just that, a myth. The only way your body's going to catabolize all your muscle is if there's no fat in your body. And looking around, I'm thinking that's not a big fucking problem in society today. At least in our society. So avoid the caloric restriction. I got off on a big tangent there, so let me fucking continue here. The other thing that you can do if you're going to eat shit and want to lose weight is do long fasts. We're talking 5 days at a time. I wouldn't do a 5-day fast more than once a month, but you could. Now, your weight's going to go all over the place when you do this. If you're eating shit, when you first start out eating shit after that 5-day fast, you're not going to feel very good. You're not going to, it's going to slow you down a little. Now, I've done a 5-day fast, and it's extreme. You're definitely going to require a healthy dose of willpower. The first 72 hours, when you get around 72 hours, is a bitch. It's probably the worst of it. Then periodically you get, and it starts becoming more spaced out. And I contend, and from what I've heard from anecdotal evidence, the longer the fast, the less often you get ravenous, the less often you get hungry. And eventually your body becomes an efficient fat burning. And I assume this process would take a few weeks, into a long water fast. Now, I don't recommend doing these extremely long fasts unless you've been practicing this fasting for a long time. You really have to get your body used to something. You put your toe in the water before you jump in. If you jump in, you're going to fucking drown, okay? That's how it's going to work. So you got to, step in till you get up to your knees, then go in a little deeper till you're, the water's touching your balls, and it's going to be a little cold when it touches your balls, so you might want to back up a little, and then you get under until your fucking dick shrivels up, and, you're in the cold water, and then finally your body starts to get used to the goddamn water, and you're ready to get in there, and after a while, you're just diving and jumping and doing fucking cannonballs and all that kind of shit until you're fucking swimming like a pro. If fasting is the same kind of metaphorical bullshit, the same way, you do the same fucking thing. Ease into it. Work it. And weight loss should not be a quick thing, all right? You didn't put all that fat on your ass in 2 months. So you shouldn't try and take it all off in 2 months. Is it possible? Yes, but your body's going to panic and put it right back where you got it. So do it slowly, a pound or 2 a week. And now I get impatient. I understand. There's times when I'm losing a pound a week and I'm like, come on, I know I could do 5 pounds if I just did me a fucking 72-hour fast and, then followed it up with a bunch of fucking 36 ADF. And, there's all kinds of people that get impatient and you do it too fast and it becomes more difficult. Your body will plateau easier and you'll regain weight a lot easier the faster you lose it. I feel gradual 1 to 2 pounds a week is a good goal. And that's with my current protocol that I'm doing. That's the weight loss I've been experiencing is about a pound, sometimes almost 2 pounds a week. The problem is these fucking holidays, they come into the picture and they really fuck you. You lose all your progress. You lose you lose your week or 2 weeks. You can lose 2 weeks of progress by 1 weekend of fucking holiday eating. And that's kind of what has happened to me with the Christmas. So now I'm trying to recover from it. And it's back on the horse, slowly but surely, plucking away the weight that I put on over the holidays. And just acknowledging it's a setback and keep going and make it a gradual, slow process. So that's about all the ways you can deal with your plateau. And the most important thing about dealing with a weight loss plateau is to not give up. If you give up, you're going to be fat again, and it'll be like all of this work was for nothing. All right? Eventually, you get used to the eating once a day thing, and ideally, from what I have experienced, after I rebounded from my ketogenic weight loss, when I started eating shit again, I plateaued going back up. I plateaued in the 214 to 216 pound range. And if I eat one meal a day at my current activity level, every day, of whatever the fuck I want, it could even be fucking cookies, cakes, sugar, crap, I don't regain weight. I'm not going back up to 250, 255, ever again, because of intermittent fasting. So the 16 and the 23s, initially when you start doing 23 daily fasts, if you were really obese, you're probably going to lose weight just doing that. But there will come a time where that ain't going to cut it. Or you're already not really all that obese and you're just trying to lose that 10 or 15 pounds. So you think, oh, I'll just do 23-hour fasts. Well, you might already be at that plateau a lot of us experience when we start out with fasting. And you might need to notch it up, kick it up a notch. So step up your fasting times. To summarize, step up your fasting times if you're hit a plateau. Reduce your carb and sugar intake. If you can't do it every day, do it every other day at least. And maybe you'll even get more into the swing of it. So maybe you could do 2 days or 3 days of keto in a row. My girlfriend is currently going to be trying to she does the 1 meal a day thing like me. She's going to try and do keto during the week and then eat what you want on the weekends. I don't recommend that. Not because it's, going to fuck you up too bad, but you're going to feel like a bag of dog shit if you do keto. The longer you do keto, when you go back to eating some carbs, it will knock you the fuck out. It will be like you fucking got hammered and you're laying on the floor. That's how fucking adapted you become, the longer you go in. The longer you're eating keto, the more adapted you are to burning fat and the less adapted you are to burning carbs and sugar. And when you switch at that point, you really fuck yourself. Right now, I'm trying to work in that little gray area. There's that little transition period, to where you're doing both. And my energy levels when I'm doing this are spot on. If I overdo it with the sugar and carbs, it knocks me down a bit. But generally, with my fasting, and right now as I'm fasted, I feel energetic. I don't feel tired. I don't feel like I gotta take a fucking nap. My brain is fucking functioning. I do not feel the fog that can be associated with sugar and carbs. And it's a balance. I'm doing a balancing act I know the sugar and carbs are bad, at the levels that we eat them. So anything I can do to reduce that. And while I may not be able to do it on an individual meal level, like if I go and I know I'm having a carb meal, I fuck off, I eat whatever, then I also have to have a meal where I don't do any of that shit, where I eat the healthy fats, where I eat keto, and keep it at that. Just fucking remember, though, as you watch this, and I know a lot of you have told me that I've helped you a lot. I've gotten a lot of appreciative comments, and people have told me personally, directly, that I have helped them a lot. And that's one of the reasons I do the fasting videos, is to help people that are like me, that aren't gym rats, that aren't trying to fucking become, the cover of fucking Men's Health or Women's Health or whatever, that are just trying to not be morbidly obese and maybe avoid some of the health consequences such as diabetes, heart disease, and all of that. The more sugar and carbs you're eating, the more you're risking, the more risk you're taking. Sugar is a drug. Treat it like a drug. It's just as bad as cigarettes, just as bad as alcohol. has the same exact effects on your liver as alcohol, by the way. So, remember that. You know, I feel like I gotta start reminding people, because the marketing is insane. Sugar is everywhere. You know, I even just watched PewDiePie the other day, and he was going to get a donut, and he remarked, he was like, so this is why Americans are so fat. I understand now. Well, yeah, because it's everywhere. It's a drug, and it's literally pushed upon you, not only by commercial and fucking other enterprises, it's pushed on you by your family and friends. They're like, here, have some cookies. You want some cookies? Here's a fucking cookie for you, you motherfucking fat bastard. Here, you shut the fucking cookie in your fucking mouth and shut the fuck up. Take them cookies home with you, you prick. You better eat them fucking cookies and the cakes and shit. I don't care how fat you are. Get it out of my house so I don't get fat. Fuck! Alright, that might have been too far. But remember, I'm not a fucking expert. Just a fucking asshole. Have a nice fucking day, motherfucker. Oh, and like, subscribe, share, and we can all get thin together. Yeah. Fuck the corporate food world. We're not eating your shit every day. You're gonna take a 50% goddamn cut in profits, because we're all gonna fast. That's right, every other day. You're just gonna take it in the ass, you food corporation motherfuckers. As more and more people learn this and we become healthier, all your profits are gonna drop. All the food company profits are gonna drop. All the goddamn medical profits are gonna drop. So we might be in for some financial stability, but at least we'll be a little healthier and not as fat. So, yeah. Have a nice fucking day.